Let's make one thing clear. You weren't paranoid. You weren't too sensitive. You were in a battlefield, surrounded by snakes slithering in human skin, whispering lies with sugar on their tongues, stabbing you while hugging you and calling it love. They didn't just betray you, they tried to erase you. They laughed at your silence, mocked your intuition. They thought you'd keep doubting yourself while they danced with your trust. But you saw it all. You watched the patterns. You caught the smirks. You heard the conversations that weren't meant for your ears, not with words, but with actions. And deep down you knew. That friend who only smiled when you were broken. That lover who swore loyalty, then vanished the moment it wasn't about them. That family who only showed up to take, not to stand. They were never with you. They were using you as long as you were convenient. But they miscalculated one thing. You weren't built in comfort. You were forged in betrayal. Your soul didn't crack, it hardened. Let them call you cold. Let them say you changed. Because you did. They turned you into steel. They trained you in war, unintentionally. You were the naive one once, believing in loyalty, believing in promises, believing that good intentions meant good people. But then came the blood, the emotional bruises, the moments when you screamed inside and no one heard. You tried to be the light, and they tried to drown you in their shadows. You trusted, and they fed on it like predators. And now you see the game. Now your eyes are open. Now you walk like a ghost they can't touch. You stopped asking for explanations. You stopped waiting for apologies that would never come. You stopped trying to fix relationships that were designed to break you. You're not broken, you're battle-tested, you're not soft, you're strategic, you're not angry, you're focused, and that's what terrifies them now. You became the thing they never saw coming, awake, dangerous, silent, unapologetic. They thought you'd crumble. They thought you'd beg. They thought you'd keep holding the knife they handed you and blame yourself for bleeding. But you threw it back, and they choked on their guilt. You owe them nothing. No closure, no second chances, no seat back at your table. They had their opportunity, and they used it to betray you. So let them watch. Let them drown in your distance. Let them suffer in the silence you now wear like armor. Because here's the truth. They didn't just lose you. They lost their shield. They lost their source. They lost their best chance at real loyalty. And they'll never find it again, because people like you don't come twice. You don't beg to be understood. You don't chase false smiles anymore. You let the snakes slither, and you walk away, undefeated. They tried to bury you in the guilt of their own sin. They tried to manipulate your kindness into weakness. But kindness is not weakness, it's discipline. And now your discipline is war. This world taught you the cost of trust. So now you invest in your own rise. They wanted your destruction, but all they did was trigger your transformation. Let them talk. Let them stalk your silence. Because soon they'll realize they betrayed a future king. They underestimated a storm. They mistook calm for submission. And now, they face the wrath of your rebirth. You keep telling yourself stories. You call them reasons, but they're lies. Comfort-coated poison you sip daily to avoid the truth. Let's tear it all down. I didn't have the support. I was too broken. Life wasn't fair. They hurt me. I was too kind. They made me this way. No, you let them. You let them disrespect you once, then twice, then a dozen more times until it became your normal. You handed them the match and they lit the fire in your life. And instead of putting it out, you stared at the flames and blamed the wind. You think you're a victim? Then act like one and stay buried. But if you've got even one drop of warrior blood left in your veins, you'll realize it wasn't the betrayal that broke you. It was the lie that you couldn't fight back. Here's the truth you've been running from. You liked the pain. You got addicted to the suffering. You made trauma your identity because healing meant work, and you weren't ready to show up for it. You kept letting the same people back in because your mind was wired for chaos. Peace felt unfamiliar, so you chose drama over discipline. You chose comfort over consequences. Don't look shocked now. You knew who they were. The red flags were neon. The gut feelings were deafening. But you stayed, you hoped, you prayed. While they played, they gaslit you. You lit the gas. They ghosted you. You were haunting yourself long before they vanished. They cheated, lied, left. That's who they are. That's what snakes do. But you kept feeding the serpent. You kept opening the door, hoping a cobra would turn into a kitten. That's not loyalty. That's self-destruction in disguise, and it ends here. Because you've been handed a moment right now. Not of comfort, but of choice. The chance to stop performing for people who would never clap. The opportunity to stop bleeding for those who bring their own knives. The decision to finally walk out of the hell you've been calling home. But you won't take it, will you? Because you still believe the lie. You still think, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe if I change, they'll come back different. Let's rip this mask off. They didn't change because they never respected you. They never feared losing you. They never saw your value. Because you handed it to them like a gift wrapped in silence. And now you want to believe life just happened to you? No. You let it punch you in the mouth and you kept smiling through the blood. And here's the savage truth. Nobody is coming to save you, not your friends, not your family, not God until you move. He gave you discernment, he gave you signs, he let you feel the gut-wrenching pain not to punish you, but to awaken you. You keep praying for deliverance, but God's not about to carry someone who won't stand up. This is your war, and the battlefield isn't out there, it's in your mind. It's the lies that you've been feeding like royalty, while your truth is chained in the basement screaming to be heard. You've convinced yourself that you're stuck, that you're broken beyond repair, that you'll never love again, that you'll never trust again, that you'll never win again. But the only thing stopping your resurrection is the graveyard of your own excuses. Let me ask you this. How long will you let that betrayal define your story? How long will you carry the wound like a trophy? How long will you replay their lies like a lullaby just to avoid facing the sound of your own roar? They lied to you once. You lied to yourself every day after. They cheated, fine, but you keep cheating yourself out of a life that's waiting. They abandoned you? Cool, but you abandoned your fire long before they did. They used you? Yes. But you gave them the tools to do it again and again. It's time to stop talking about what they did. What are you going to do now? You have two choices. Keep bleeding on memories. Start building your warpath. The clock's ticking. Your destiny's starving, and your greatness is suffocating under the weight of your own damn narrative. Rewrite it. Stand up. Not with tears, not with apologies, but with fury, with purpose, with scars that you wear like medals, because you earned every one of them in the trenches. This ain't therapy. This is war. And the battlefield doesn't care about your comfort. It only rewards killers of comfort, assassins of excuses, destroyers of lies. You were not born to be soft-spoken and tolerated. You were born to be remembered, so burn the old script, kill the narrative, murder the lies. Because now, Now you know. It wasn't just them. It was you. Let that sink in. Let it sting. Let it slap your soul awake. And next time you look in the mirror, don't see the victim. See the enemy you just conquered. Let's get something straight right now. You weren't born weak. You didn't come into this world with chains around your soul. You weren't meant to be a victim. But somewhere along the way, you let it happen. You built the shackles yourself, you put them on, and you sat there waiting for someone to come and remove them. You waited for someone to save you. But nobody is coming. Not one person is going to carry you out of this mental prison that you built from your own fear, your own lies, and your own complacency. Let me tell you exactly what's going on here. You made yourself weak. The pain? It didn't break you. You let it. The betrayal? It didn't ruin you. You let it. The failure? It didn't defeat you. You gave up first. Now you want to sit around and play the victim? Fine. Go ahead. You can cry. You can mope. You can beg the universe for mercy. But don't expect anything to change, because you won't change. And here's the truth of it. You're not stuck. You're not cursed. You're not a victim of bad luck. You're addicted. You've been so hooked on the comfort of your excuses, the relief of your pity party, and the ease of your self-deception, that you've turned them into your identity. You've clung to the lie that I can't do it, because that's what keeps you safe from doing the real work. You've convinced yourself that change is too hard, too painful, too impossible. You've let yourself believe that you're too broken, too damaged, too imperfect to do anything about it. But you know what? That's just the lie you tell yourself. It's easier to say I can't than it is to face the hard reality. You don't want to. Here's the unvarnished truth. You were never meant to be weak. You were never supposed to cower under pressure. You were never meant to break when the world gets tough, but you become a slave to comfort, a servant to mediocrity. You settled. You got comfortable with your excuses. You told yourself, it's okay. I can always try again tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Every day you wait for a miracle. You wait for a change in your life, a moment of divine intervention. But the truth is, miracles don't happen to the weak. Miracles happen to the ones who dare to fight for them, who fight through the excuses, who fight through the pain, who fight through the doubts and the fears and the lies they've told themselves for far too long. You've been waiting for something you'll never get, a free pass. You want everything to fall into place without putting in the work. You want life to be easy. But life isn't a fairy tale, and nobody gets a free ride. The truth is simple. You're weak because you've chosen to be. You've chosen to stay in the comfort zone. You've chosen to remain a prisoner of your own mind. You've chosen to stay stuck in the same toxic cycles that keep you chained to failure. You've chosen to keep talking about your dreams without ever taking action. You've chosen to let your past define your future. You've chosen to believe the lies of others and the lies you tell yourself. And guess what? It's not working. You keep blaming everyone else for your situation. But let's break it down. If you're still in the same place you were 5 years ago, it's because you haven't changed. You've let every setback, every failure, every piece of betrayal stick to you like mud. And instead of cleaning it off, you've let it stain you. Instead of using it as fuel, you've used it as a crutch. It's time to face it. You're the one holding yourself back. You know how many people out there are in far worse situations than you? People who have been through literal wars, personal tragedies, and hell on earth, but still stand tall. But you're wasting your potential on excuses and self-pity. It's time to wake up. The raw truth is this. You're your own worst enemy. You're not a failure because the world is against you. You're a failure because you've let The world beat you without fighting back. You're not broken because life is unfair. You're broken because you've let yourself stay that way. You're not lost because you don't have a map. You're lost because you refuse to trust yourself to find your own way. And here's the hardest pill to swallow. The only thing that's ever been in your way is you. So now you're asking yourself, what do I do now? Here's the answer. It's simple. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting for things to change. You stop pretending that things will magically get better. And you start taking action. The truth is, you've been lying to yourself, and it's time to stop. You've been telling yourself, I can't because... But the reality is, you won't because you're too afraid to face the pain. You're too afraid to admit that you've been hiding behind excuses like a coward. You've been lying to yourself about why you're stuck, but guess what? The truth is, you're not stuck. You're paralyzed, and you did it to yourself. But I'm telling you right now, you have the power to change it all. You have the strength to tear down the walls you've built. But you've got to stop waiting for someone to come and pull you out of your hole. You've got to dig yourself out, so stop. Stop wallowing. Stop pretending like you don't have what it takes. Stop looking for the easy way out. This is war, and you're either in the fight or you're losing. So now ask yourself, are you going to keep lying to yourself? Or are you finally going to face the truth and fight your way out? Let's get straight to the point. You think you're safe, don't you? You think that by standing still, by playing it safe, by not rocking the boat, you'll somehow be spared the consequences. You think you can sit around and wait for the world to change for you? Well, let me make something crystal clear. The world doesn't care. It doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your fears or your pain. It will crush you with or without your consent. And every second you waste staying stuck, every moment you let yourself cower in the corner, you're digging your own grave. It's that simple. You want to know the price of weakness? Let me show you. You want to sit around waiting for things to get better? Well, guess what? Things are only going to get worse. Every single day you refuse to take action, you're giving away a piece of your future. Every hour you waste, you're losing time you can never get back. And you know what's worse? You're watching everyone else pass you by. You're sitting there, still pretending like you'll catch up. But guess what? You won't. Not until you wake the hell up. And here's why. Because your weakness is costing you everything. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. You know this, right? Every time you put off taking action, every time you tell yourself, not now, maybe later, you're building a mountain of regret. You're stacking bricks of failure on top of each other, and soon that mountain becomes too high to climb. The cost of waiting is insurmountable. The time you spend letting life pass you by doesn't just vanish into thin air. It's gone, forever. And every single day you sit in your comfort zone, you're handing over the power you could have used to change your life. You're giving it to the world, to the people who will never stop moving forward. You're losing. You've heard it before, time waits for no one. But it's not just time you're losing, it's your chance. You think you have more time? You don't. I don't care how young or old you are. I don't care if you've been knocked down before. I don't care how much pain you're in. This is your only shot. You are not promised another chance. If you don't start moving, you're done. You don't just get to keep coming back for second chances over and over again. That's not how the world works. If you keep sitting on your ass waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for life to be kind to you, you're dead in the water. You're standing on the edge right now. You've been holding back for too long. You've been hesitating and second-guessing yourself, thinking that maybe, just maybe, the universe will throw you a bone. It won't. It doesn't work that way. This is war. And in this war, only the relentless survive. The weak, they get trampled. And right now, you're standing on the battlefield, hoping the enemy will be kind to you. But no one is coming to save you. No one is going to throw you a lifeline. The truth is, your weakness has already cost you. Think about the people who left. Think about the opportunities you let slip away. Think about how many times you've been overlooked because you didn't step up. Think about how many dreams died because you were too scared to take action. Your fear has already cost you everything. Let me ask you something. What will happen when you keep standing still? What happens when you keep waiting for the right time? What happens when you keep allowing yourself to get crushed under the weight of your own insecurities? Here's the ugly reality. You'll be forgotten. You'll be passed over. Your name will fade into the background and nobody will remember the person who had the potential but did nothing with it. You'll become irrelevant. And it won't matter how many excuses you have or how hard you try to justify it. You will be left in the dust, a mere shadow of what you could have been. Your legacy will be nothing. You think the world owes you something, don't you? You think that because you've suffered, because you've been hurt, the universe should give you a break. But guess what? The universe doesn't care about your suffering. It doesn't owe you a damn thing. If you want something, you fight for it. If you want success, you go out there and take it. And if you don't take action, you'll fade away. This is the consequence of your inaction. This is the price you pay for staying stuck in your comfort zone. This is what happens when you let your fear, your doubts, and your laziness dictate your life. You lose. You lose everything you've ever dreamed of. You lose respect. You lose opportunity. You lose your chance to build something great. And you lose yourself. So, let me make it simple for you. Either you rise or you fall. You take control of your life or you let it slip away. There is no middle ground here. There is no safety net. This isn't a game. This is life. And the price of your weakness will be paid in full if you don't change. You've been given a chance, but you won't get another one if you don't take it. The world doesn't wait for anyone. And right now, the clock is ticking. So ask yourself, are you ready to pay the price?